Hello and welcome to Sports News Africa, the home of Africa's sporting conversation. And let's take a look at the headlines. Ivory Coast press the restart button. And there's an inexperienced Kenya 7 squad heading to Australia. And the Kometo effect lingers in East Africa. Thank you for watching Sports News Africa. I'm Ehi Longi. Now, AFCON qualifiers dominate the sporting scene in Africa this weekend. And despite Ebola creating problems, especially for Sierra Leonean fans who are looking to enter Cameroon, the excitement is Pan-African as the race to Morocco 2015 hots up. Former champions, including Egypt and Nigeria, have plenty to do, as do 2012 champion Zambia, who travelled to Niger in a key Group F clash, seeking their first victory in the qualifiers. Let's catch up with Niger's coach, Jeannot Roh, to see their preparation.
Under the bright blue evening skies of the Sahara Desert in the capital, Niamey, the Niger national soccer team is putting in last touches ahead of this weekend's crucial 2015 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Zambia. Niger has been struggling since the qualifiers kicked off, falling 3-1 at home to Cape Verde in their opening Group F match and a 1-1 draw against Mozambique in an away clash in Maputo. Head coach Jeannot Roh is optimistic his team is ready to take the fight to the Zambians on Saturday.
Nous sommes déterminés pour remporter ce match. On n'a pas le droit là de passer à côté.
We're determined to win this game. Do not have the right to miss our chance. We played a good game in Mozambique and got a positive result. And now we are about to take revenge for our loss here in Cape Verde, which was very difficult. After Zambia, we hope to beat Mozambique as well.
Niger is at the bottom of the group with 1 point and therefore needs to pull out all the stops to book a berth to the 2015 AFCON in Morocco. Motari Kalala, the team's striker, said the team is ready to stun the Zambians. We are now preparing ourselves and the spirit is quite high with the coach. We are trying to work out tactics in view of this match, since it's quite a decisive one for us. I hope we are going to get those 3 points. Both Niger and Zambia have 1 point. Cape Verde tops the chart with 6 points, while Mozambique has managed 2.
Third place in Group D, Ivory Coast are looking to bounce back from their 4-1 trouncing at the hands of Cameroon in their game against Democratic Republic of Congo, and they need a positive result to stay in touch with their group. Let's catch up with their coach. The Elephants are banking on their French coach, Renaud, who has experienced coaching more than one country in the continent, to get them to the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations.
Parfois, ça fait du bien de recevoir une bonne gifle. Ça permet de...
Sometimes getting a slap in the face is a good way to get back in touch with reality and go back to the basics. You have to be humble in football, and the Ivory Coast is no longer the same team as in 2006 and up to 2012. Everyone has to understand that first, and then we can work at becoming a greater team again.
Et après, avec du travail, on arrivera à redevenir une belle équipe.
Manchester City's star offensive midfielder will be looking to bring his recent goal-scoring form for his club side into this weekend's fixture, knowing his side have little room for mistakes.
We are more or less up against the wall here. We have to win both games, or if we lose, we have to win the next 3 games. I think it's going to be rather hard, but that's why you love sport and football. It's a challenge. We have to make the trials.
Ethiopian coach Mariano Barreto has had some problems with the discipline of some players in the national side and has taken a stance which has sparked some controversy by sending home 4 national team players ahead of their next match with Mali. We head into their camp now to try and get behind that story.
The Ethiopian national team, the Walia Ibex, has raised the alarm after dropping 4 key players hours before their crucial first leg 2015 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier match against Mali on Saturday. The shake-up comes after what head coach Mariano Barreto termed as cases of indiscipline by the 4 players. The 4 players are dependable midfielder Adai Girma, Alula Girma, Antene Tesfaye and Johannes Bezabe. Asifo Silesh, a sports journalist in Addis Ababa, believes the coach's move will not benefit the national team much, but will instead weaken it.
I think we have to acknowledge the decision of the coach because he has a good reason why he dropped out some of the players from the team. He has his own scheme for the game, but I am not still convinced why he dropped out the midfield player Adan Girma. He had a good performance during the World Cup qualifiers games, and in addition to that, he has a good driving force to change the spirit of the team.
As a result, the coach has added 5 new players, 2 of whom are drawn from local clubs. Coach Barreto defended his decision to drop the players.
This is a technical option, and here there are the players who I think can help national team. Only this. This is nothing personal, because I'm here to fight for Ethiopia, not fight for anybody in particular. And if someone don't understand that this is a teamwork, they don't have place here, because I want here players with good behavior, who everybody are teaching my young boys, because I have players, maybe some of them will play with 17 years old. So I have to be here only who wants work and who are ready to fight without any expectation about the score.
The new lineup will now include international-based Yusuf Saleh, Amin Askar and Walid Atta, and local league players David Besha from Ethiopian Coffee and Henok Kashun from Dedebit Football Club. Football fans like Solomon Enigda supported the coach's move, but only if it will create a good team.
I believe the coach has the right to decide which players he wants in the team and which players should be dropped out. He knows the performance of each player in the team and has his own tactics to apply during the match. I think that is the reason why he dropped out some of the players from the team. And I liked the fact that he replaced some of the older players with the younger ones.
Ethiopia are in Group B alongside Mali, Algeria and Malawi, and is currently at the bottom of the table after losing to Malawi and Algeria a month ago.
Coming up after the break on Sports News Africa, East African runners are in record-breaking mood ahead of the Chicago Marathon. And Poultry's squad seeks gold on the coast. All that is still to come. See you after the break. Welcome back to Sports News Africa. Sunday's Chicago Marathon, like most marathons, will have a strong East African presence amongst the favorites for the race. And with Kenya's Dennis Kimeto setting a new world record in Berlin, the anticipation grows that we could see the new record fall even lower. However, with events from the Boston Marathon in 2013 still fresh in some minds, there is a whirlwind of emotions around this event. And to help us navigate through this, we are joined now by race director Carrie Pinkowski from Chicago. Carrie, thank you for joining us. And as we get into the marathon season, what marks out Chicago as being different from the other majors?
In Chicago, we have a long winter here, and running is a rite of spring. And as we come out of the winter, we have a beautiful lakefront and great training areas, not only in the city, but in the suburbs that really complement people's athletics and their endeavors. So as the leaves start to green, so does the runners along the paths and along the lakefront. So that's when people know spring is here, because Chicago is truly a running city.
Okay, it's being suggested Chicago will be a fast race this year. Now, with the world record falling in Berlin recently, do you think we might see it beaten again?
Well, great performance, historic performance in Berlin. That has really set the consciousness of Chicago. We have a magnificent group of athletes on the men's and women's side. Dennis Comito, who broke the record in Berlin, is our course record holder. So the consciousness of the athletes as they've prepared is records are here in Chicago. And I think we'll see some very, very fast performances.
Okay, now following the bombing incident at the Boston Marathon last year, is security a major concern for you?
Security has been a primary focus in the past and in the present. We work and design the event in Chicago with our law enforcement partners, Chicago Police and our federal agencies. We work in lockstep with them. Last year, we had a very thorough procedures and format and upgrades that worked very well. So that baseline will be in place again this year. And the result will be a safe and secure and memorable race day for some of these magnificent athletes up front and all of our participants.
Okay, finally in Africa, Cape Town has ambitions to have its marathon upgraded. What would your advice be to the organizers there?
Cape Town is such a magnificent sporting town and sporting community and has such a tradition of athletics. A lot of times these events develop with time and tradition. I wouldn't rush it, but they have all of the pieces in place. They have to work very hard, work on their operations, and deliver a great race day experience, and just build the tradition.
Okay, Kerry, thank you for that. And staying with the marathon and the challenge set by Dennis Comito with his new world record has energized, as Kerry said, his fellow marathon athletes right across East Africa, as evidenced by this report.
They are famed for their long-distance running prowess, but these Kenyan and Ugandan athletes are also known for their love for the environment, as is evidenced in this tree planting ceremony. But besides this gathering in Kampala, Uganda on Wednesday to discuss regional economic integration, the burning desire among them to break even more world records remains stronger. Barely a fortnight ago, Kenya's David Kimeto smashed the world record at the Berlin Marathon, edging out compatriot William Kipsang from the charts. Kimeto, 30, set the course ablaze with 2 hours, 2 minutes and 57 seconds, chipping 26 seconds or a second off every mile from Kipsang's record set last year in the same race. Kipsang ran 2 hours, 3 minutes, 23 seconds to set the record and become the only man to run under 2 hours, 4 minutes more than once, making it seem possible to shatter the 2-hour record.
Like recently, you saw the London Marathon, the ladies.
Kipsang is convinced the 2-hour barrier will be shattered sooner than later by Kenyans who are already busy training to achieve the elusive timing.
The only way to come under 2 hours is to bring it down from where it is. Now the record is in 2 hours, 2 minutes and 57. I will try, and each and every athlete will try to bring it down. It will come down to 2 hours, 2:20, 10, 2:01, then now to sub 2 hours. So I think it is possible, but we should try first to bring it down from where it is, which I think it is possible.
Though not in the upcoming Chicago Marathon lineup, Kipsang will run in the November 2nd New York City Marathon and has vowed to make history.
I just had the record for 1 year. So first of all, you find that it's not easy. It's not easy, but the way it was broken for somebody like me, you find that I took it in a very positive manner, because it was a big challenge for me. That I have now the biggest task to try to train harder and see if I can run faster than the time which has been set now.
Kenyans have always dominated middle and long distance races in the world, but the emergence of strong Ethiopian runners has rattled the East African establishment. Edna Kiplagat, a two-time IAAF marathon gold medalist, said she has been forced to reconsider her training and promised a strong comeback.
I'm looking forward is to break a world record and to go for a medal in Olympics, because I've done well in World Championship, and those are the things which I'm still looking forward to.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wilson.
Kenya will continue to be represented at all the top marathons in the world, and the outcome of many of these races will likely mirror the determination of runners like Kipsang and Kiplagat.
If you compare the white people and us,
To rugby now. Now, recent coverage of the Safaricom Sevens, we highlighted the off-field issues within the Kenya Sevens game, with up to 10 senior players on strike. This strike led to a poorly received performance at the Safaricom Sevens, and now the same squad heads to Australia's Gold Coast, with the pressure mounting on the Federation to resolve the dispute.
After all the games had been played and the dust settled, Kenya's Sevens rugby team lackluster and upsetting performance in the just concluded Safaricom Sevens left many questions unanswered. It all first started with Kenya dropping key players from the team following wrangles over contracts and money. But still, the team had been expected to perform better than it did. However, the Kenya Rugby Union has come out in defense of its actions, saying the issue of contracts was being dealt with at the highest level to avoid a repeat in the future. Michael Kwambo is the Kenya Rugby Union Media Relations Officer.
Well, that issue is being dealt with at the highest level, at the board level by the Kenya Rugby Union. I believe that it will be resolved in an amicable manner. Everybody will be back in the fray sooner than we know it.
Kwambo also defended the outcome of the tournament, arguing that some of the players were fairly new and had never participated at the international level.
Well, I think they performed well when you consider that we brought in young players, we brought in a new team. Many of these people had never played at such a stage before. The team was just assembled probably 4 or 5 days before the tournament. It was a good performance.
The new team left this week for the Gold Coast Sevens in Australia. Without the experienced key players raising concerns, this is a call for unwarranted major upsets at the hands of the more experienced teams.
I think they'll perform well because, again, remember, it's a competition. Anything can happen. I think they have a good coach. They have spent time together. They've managed to correct their mistakes. I expect a good performance from them.
Kwambo said despite the setbacks, Kenya will emerge as one of the powerhouses of rugby in Africa.
I see Kenya becoming a bigger powerhouse as it is already in Africa. We have managed to scare South Africa, Namibia and Zimbabwe. We are coming there, so in the next 5 years we'll definitely be on top with the other powerhouses.
Rugby has grown from its infancy to the level it is now, thanks to corporate funding and hundreds of thousands of die-hard fans. Kwambo believes for the sport to make much-needed leap in development, the government needs to step in with more funding for training of young players.
In terms of being changed, there's a lot of things that need to be changed. Of course, we need to have a lot more involvement from sponsors and from government. If they can change the way they think about the game, I believe that we're in the right direction towards becoming great.
Kenya is pooled alongside South Africa, Wales and American Samoa in the Gold Coast Sevens in Australia, which is set to begin from 11th to 13th October this year.
Welcome back to Sports News Africa. Last night saw qualifiers for next year's European Championships take place all across Europe. Whilst the most surprising result was probably Spain's loss to Slovakia, Switzerland's loss to Slovenia was probably a close second. The other match in Switzerland's group saw England maintain their winning streak in the group, with goals from Rooney and the Arsenal duo of Welbeck and Oxlade-Chamberlain, seeing them run out eventual 5-0 winners. This is what manager Roy Hodgson had to say. Tennis news now, and the race to London and the ATP finals continues in Shanghai. And though his place at the end of the season showdown for the top 8 seeds in men's tennis is guaranteed, Novak Djokovic showed great desire to maintain his winning streak at the Shanghai Masters. We have been bringing you NBA preseason action and updates. And with the Miami Heat and Cleveland Cavaliers about to resume a LeBron James-themed rivalry with a friendly in Rio, we took the time to catch up with another new addition to the Cavaliers squad, whose journey into the squad has probably been even more unusual than LeBron's. And that's the end of Sports News Africa for today. Join us again tomorrow when we bring you all the latest from Africa and around the world. Goodbye for now.